It is beautiful outside. Yesterday was beautiful as well. This is like peak spring perfection. All right, so the other day we planted potatoes and today we're gonna plant carrots. Why don't you hoe up the ground? You're good at hoeing it up, right? Really need to get up that perimeter fence. Yesterday we went out to camp and did some exploring.
Ow. I got stuck on a thorn.
No, the whole thing was here.
And it was so fascinating. First of all, it was crazy because the river and the creeks were up really high. Look at it. Look at how flooded. So this is not normally flooded, but they had to close the locks because the barges in the river that got messed up. So we ended up doing some exploring. How you're over here? Following me, huh? Okay, so I'm out. We're already making adjustments on the fly. So we're gonna just finish that row out with potatoes and then do a whole nother row with carrots and maybe more potatoes. So I'm sorry you had to hoe that up. So we went exploring. I think I mentioned this the other day. That property has some old homesteads on it. Oh my gosh. I totally snapped my tripod. It's like the cheapest tripod you could get at Walmart because I didn't want to spend money on a tripod. Might be time to spend money on a better tripod. Okay, I'm thinking we stick the camera tripod in here. Oof. All right, let's stick it. Kind of works. That's pretty good. That works. Yeah. So anyways, the story about the homesteads goes, and take this with a pinch of salt because it's obviously like passed down from person to person to person. I don't think there's any records that I am aware of, but what I have heard is that there were, I think, like 7 homesteads on this property, and then they all got some type of fever and died kind of like one by one. Really sad. So anyways, there are these homesteads that used to be on this property. So the other day while we were out there, I remember mentioning to you that I saw some daffodils in a field, and I was like, are daffodils wild? And then my friend informed me about what I'm now calling the Daffodil Theory. Basically, if you see daffodils out in the middle of nowhere, there might have been an old homestead there. And so that's what we went looking for while we were on this property. And we managed to find 4 wells, one of which we already knew was there. One that was totally new to me. You see a mirror of you. And then 2 that were kind of like filled in. You can see that it was kind of circular. It looks filled in. Oh, is it filled in? It's like partially filled in. So we saw daffodils. Daffodils? Well. So that was really interesting. And it was just like, here are the daffodils. Let's look around. And you found like a well. So that used to be the spot of an old homestead. We need a lot more compost. So that really got me thinking about what it would be like to live back then. I mean, these houses were, very far away from anything else. You're not going to the store. Certainly not that often. There were no paved roads back then. I guess they'd probably have horses or something. It's just interesting to think about. I also find it fascinating. I don't know if you've ever been to Gatlinburg. That's like where everybody from here goes to vacation in Gatlinburg because it's close and it's nice. And there's the Katie's Loop, which has old homestead type things, just like a log cabin, just like one room log cabin with like 12 people living in it. And it's interesting because the time period when people were living in those cabins so primitively is the same time period that on the East Coast, if you go to like Newport, you can see those giant mansions. And it's just like so interesting how different life was in one spot compared to, moving further out west, frontier type things. It's just fascinating. All right, I do not know what is wrong with that wheelbarrow, but it has me struggling. We're gonna see if this one works better. Oh, so much better. So much better. I started to worry about myself there. I was like, why am I so weak? Nope, it was the wheelbarrow. So anyways, it gave me a lot of food for thought. So here were these homesteads, right? They had houses on them. They had wells. They had, you know, some infrastructure and people. And it's like the people no longer there. The houses, there was one chimney and a rock foundation. Is that like the foundation? No, can you just put it? Other than that, the other ones, there was no house at all. And the wells, there were some of them still intact and others that had already pretty much been filled in and soon will just be covered by the ground and you will never even know they were there. But the daffodils are still there and they will spread. They're gonna spread. They're gonna make more daffodils. They didn't just survive, they are expanding through time. So it kind of gives you thought about what you're leaving behind. There's definitely some deep thoughts there that I haven't fully fleshed out yet. But maybe you can give me your thoughts because probably better. But yeah, the daffodils are what remained. All right, are you ready? How to plant carrots. Allow me to show you. There are many methods that people use to plant carrots. This is my method. Class A gardening, that is. Yeah, we did it. We planted carrots. Will they come up? Remains to be seen. But we did do it. So what are you leaving behind? Lots of different thoughts about that, but I know as far as actual things, long after I'm dead, this oregano will be here, as will my daffodils and my peonies and all the things I planted here, including the milkweed, which will be food for monarchs, caterpillars, butterflies, long after I'm gone. Maybe that's part of the magic of the garden. Thanks for helping me do the carrots. Enjoy the day.